Hi, everybody. Heath Criswell here with the Prospect Times, and I am joined once again by Jeff Hewitt. Jeff, how you doing?
Doing fine, thank you. How you doing, Heath?
I'm doing good. So this is episode number 2 already. I can't believe
Woohoo!
it's been a week already.
Time flies when you have fun.
It sure does. We do have quite a bit to go over. I guess since we last talked on Friday, I think the episode went out on Saturday, but there, we recorded on Friday. And then the surprise Seguros, I think I said that right, won the Arizona Fall League. So, that's part of the Ranger prospects were on that team. So I guess we wanted to discuss that first, and then we'll kind of get into some other things, including who the Rangers protected, added onto the 40-man roster to protect from the Rule 5 draft coming up. Um,
Okay.
and then, maybe who you think could be taken, that is going to be available for teams to take. So we'll kind of go over that as well, and maybe a few other things. Okay, so as far as the Arizona Fall League, I know really the players that were on the Rough Riders won 2 championships.
Mm-hmm.
First off, which is pretty cool. Not a whole lot of players can
Congratulations to
say
them.
that. And of course, Luis Angel Acuna was one. Nick Starr, Grant Wolfram, Aaron Zavala, even though I know he was injured.
And that hurts. That's gonna hurt.
Yeah, it is. I mean, especially if it takes till mid-May, I think it was. But
May and June.
so I mean, that's definitely some valuable time. Especially if you were thinking that maybe we see him in Arlington, towards the end of the year. I'll tell you, I mean, yeah, of course, I'm no scout, but he impressed me. He's definitely got an eye for the ball.
Mm.
He's an on base machine. So it definitely hurts. So that's going to be time missed for him, of course. Um,
He's definitely worth the second round pick 2 years last year or 2 years ago.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
mean,
he
to
was
be
just
honest with you, that really, side point here, I think the Rangers, the last few years, their drafts have been
amazing.
brilliant so far, especially, with like Evan Carter and possibly Brock Porter, the way they did that this year. So
Mm-hmm. That was
so
crazy.
yeah, as far as the fall league goes, to kind of get back to that, I know I got sidetracked a little bit. uh,
We got Coomer, Ross. He was all eyes was on him.
oh yeah. I mean, and as they should have been, I think overall, I didn't really come away like not impressed. I will say though, I did. His delivery looks different to me.
Mm-hmm.
Again, without being a professional scout, I don't know. I've seen a lot of people kind of post concerns that there's going to be some sort of shoulder injury, later on with that, but I don't know. The walks really concern me. But he had some strikeouts as well. I mean, I think overall it really wasn't bad. I think was it he ended with a 4.50 ERA, I believe it was.
Yeah, 450. 450.
Yeah, so I mean, and really the main thing, he came away healthy. That's really the main thing.
He
Working
threw
on
14 innings, so that's good. That
yeah.
helped.
And there was at least one outing in there that looked really good. You can go online onto the Prospect Times .com and search, like Arizona Fall League, and we've got an article on there that basically shows each game from each player. So you can go check those out. We might post the link to that too in the video. Oh, by the way, Jeff, real quick, tell people where they can find you on Twitter.
Well, it's Jeff Hewitt and Aggie Milkman 17.
Aggie Milkman 17.
Aggie Milkman 17.
All right. So go follow Jeff on Twitter if you're not already.
Where we follow.
Yeah, and also in the season, just to let you know, Jeff uh, tweets as well. He does some of the live game tweeting. So when you see those tweets that have the JH in there, that's Jeff tweeting for us. So he's a big help there as well. Um, what else? Oh, the who the Rangers protected.
Well, it was really it wasn't a hard decision to do, but there were some choices that yes or no, yes or no, but Zach Kent, definitely a yes. Yeah, Cole Wynn, definitely a yes. Owen White,
Without a
yeah,
doubt, you know,
yes.
you definitely don't leave Owen White off of that list for sure. I will say this too. To me, Zach Kent would have been like if we did. I know we're not really listing these in order right now, but if we had put them in an order as far as importance, Zach, one of my favorites as well. To be honest with you, had an excellent second half of the year. I think he would have been towards the lower part for me. But finish the list that you were saying. I'm sorry to interrupt
You
you
got
there.
Acuna, then you got Jonathan Arenas, and my favorite, Dustin Harris.
Yeah. So, or
He
and I think people were surprised one by Harris and then Ornelas, but so with Jonathan, I think and all these guys are ranked pretty high in the system as well. Aren't they top 30, I believe? Now
every
this
one
is
of them,
me not looking at anything, guys, so
every
my
one of them were in
apologies.
the top 30.
Yeah, so I mean, the decision there is to me is pretty easy. If you have the roster spots available, you got to protect these guys because you really never know, right? Pitching is a big issue now, as it really always has been. We all of us know pitching wins championships. We've seen it time and time again. So the development has to be there, and these guys, I think all of these guys, literally we could see in the Rangers rotation in the near future. So to me, with Ornelas is the defense. I mean, he can play any infield position. I think he played them all except. Now again, going off the top of my head, I'm not looking at anything like I should be, but didn't play first base, but literally played every other position, and then also played outfield a time or two as well. Played them all good. I mean, he can give you the defense, so that's there.
Well, he won
And the bat,
he won 2 years or 2 months of Defender of the Month for the Rangers system.
absolutely, yeah. So
So
don't think that some team wouldn't take a chance on him, with the defense that he provides, and also the bat did come along a little bit last year. I mean, he led the Texas League in hits.
he did,
For a while,
and
he
he
led the Texas
came
League
close
in
to
average,
breaking the record, didn't he?
hmm
The
Tied it
Buffalo.
up. Yeah, tied it up. And you could argue, yeah, he spent the whole season there, right? Guys typically are going to be moving, getting promotions. Some of them get demoted. So a guy may not spend all season. Frisco had quite a few guys spend all season, which doesn't hurt. I think it's the way that, it should be at this point. Double A is one of the harder levels, really. It's the biggest jump. Um, so, Jonathan, I guess who was there any surprise to you of who was left off that you think another team could take a chance on, keeping in mind that they've got to add them onto their active 26-man roster? that
Well,
is where it becomes a big issue.
what scares me, like we talked last week, was you got John Daniels now with Tampa Bay. You got Pillars at San Diego. You got the other one at Minnesota. You got Baltimore snatching everybody off the street. So you never know. But Mason, being biased, should have been picked. To be honest with you, he should have been put on the 40 because
So
of
who would you take off to put Mason on there?
mm-mm-mm. I don't. I think
See,
okay,
so it
okay,
is a
no,
tough
no, no.
decision.
What you could do, I would take Tyson Miller off the 40-man roster. I would. I mean, to me, he's wasting. I mean,
Well, wait a
he's.
minute.
I would took.
Tyson Miller was traded, wasn't he? Something happened with him,
Mm-mm,
didn't it? I could have sworn.
no,
Maybe I'm wrong. That's very possible.
I don't know. When I was looking at it, like, okay, why is he still on the roster? But I just lost it somewhere.
Well,
Sorry,
hey,
people.
it's fine. At least you have notes in front of you, Jeff. You you've got the notes. I, of course, should have notes, but don't. But that's okay. Eventually, I will get this right. All right. So I am pulling up the Rangers
Yep, he is off of it. He is
40.
off of it.
Yeah, I thought some
Yep.
I can't remember off the top of my head right now. So he's off. I
He is
think the
off
two
of it.
roster spots for me, and I know that some are going to disagree with me here, would be Brad Miller. That might be the Miller you were thinking of, Jeff, but
Yeah, I think it was. It
Brad
was.
Miller
Sorry,
and then Eli White.
Eli White.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to me, I mean, you've got I think those are two spots there that, could clear up, but um,
Well,
I don't
today they
know.
made a roster move. Like with oh come on, Jeff. Who they? Oh, Nick Snyder. They made a roster move with them today.
Oh yeah,
Now
yeah,
they're 39,
non
down to
non
39 again.
yeah, they non-tendered him. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that
Why
I
didn't they
guess
do
kind
that
of
earlier?
surprises me. I mean, obviously in the majors, in the 4.2 innings, if you want to judge him solely off of that, the numbers don't look great. I haven't looked at, what his um what his stuff was, but like I said, looking at the numbers, they're not great in what 4.2 innings, but that's a very minimal sample size there. 27 years old, throws some high heat.
And he definitely he does throw up there in 100. That's
Yeah, he
I
does.
mean
Oh, I think what I was going to say too, kind of going back to who the Rangers did not protect. Cody Bradford as well, I
Bradford.
think was one that really was the Rough Riders ace going down the stretch.
Yeah,
It was just excellent, really. Doesn't throw high heat, but he, places
hit
the ball
control.
where he wants it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he's sort of like Greg
Um,
Maddox.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, you don't have to throw 100 miles per hour, even 99 miles per hour. Cody Bradford got some people out. So I'm kind of looking to pay attention to see if, someone would take a chance on him and, maybe stashing him in the bullpen, even though he's a starter. Um,
Chris
so yeah,
Stein.
other than
He's
that, I don't
and
think there was
he's
really
nice.
any surprises to me as far
Yeah,
as
yeah.
who they protected at least.
I agree. I agree. Because if you look at the list that are available, Jack Biggers, Matt Watley, Chris Stein, Grant Warford, Blaine Crim. Yeah, that's another. Ryan Garcia. That's another
Yeah,
name.
well, yeah, Ryan Garcia was another name too. You know, I mean, what he pitched in high A, it was, I believe,
He started
and
off
really and did
down east.
good. You know, the
Started off
problem
down east
is
a couple
yeah.
times, and went
Oh,
to
that's what.
Michigan.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. So, I mean, it did really well. But I don't think that he's one that we really have to worry about because again, just no innings really. I mean, they were
Right, nothing to go by.
minimal at least, I should say.
Nothing to go by. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, you're still going to want to protect him. If a team well, I guess that makes sense too. I mean, because, you know, technically he's a starter, but I mean, if you want to protect him, you again can stash these guys in your bullpen and, maybe get them stretched out, you know. So he could be one to watch as well. Blaine Krim to me would be another
A
interesting one.
DH. A DH.
DH. Yep, that's exactly my thought there. I think everybody that follows the farm system kind of knows what Blaine Krim does to baseballs. So he'll be another one to watch for sure. But for teams to select a player, they've got to have an open spot on their roster, an open 40
Yeah.
man, but then they've got to be added on to the 26. So,
Mm-hmm.
not every team is going to select a player. So, I mean, it could turn out the Rangers, you know, I do think they lose maybe one, two players, but hopefully it's not more than that.
Well, I think if they go to Baltimore or lower tier teams, they'll stash them. They'll come up with a blister,
Absolutely.
or
Yeah.
they'll come
Yeah.
up with a ingrown toenail or something and stash them. But you can't do that at the first couple of weeks. You can't. You can't
Yeah,
not
there
do that.
is a
But
time
afterwards,
frame. Yeah,
there
there,
is
there
time.
there definitely is a time frame for it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, a team that, like the Dodgers, I'd be very surprised
They got
if
no
they,
chance.
if they select, a Rule 5 player. But you're right, someone like the Orioles or, yeah, they're probably more likely to take a chance. Or even the A's, like you said, had we not
With Dustin
protected
Harris.
Dustin Harris, yeah, they'd probably be right there waiting with open arms.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty
Yep.
sure they regretted that trade. Now, I will say the power kind of dissipated a little bit last year, but if he hadn't been injured, he missed a good little chunk of time. So, I think obviously this is going to be a important year. We always say it, anyone that follows the farm, says this is going to be an important year, and it is. It always is for players' development, but it especially is now for him. So we will see.
You know about the turnout? I mean, of the farm, man, mostly Round Rock, of the players in Round Rock that got selected for free agency instead of
Yeah, that's right. We were going to
that
hit
was
on that
that was a
too.
big list.
Yeah, it
To
was.
me,
So
it hurt my feelings with DeMarcus Evans. That
I know
that
you're a
hurt my feelings.
big DeMarcus
Oh,
Evans fan.
that's my guy. But
Yeah.
it's just sad that he got. I think there's an omen, which is scary. Is he won the Nolan Ryan pitcher, relief pitcher award when he went 6-0 with the 0.6 ER or what 0.60 ERA, and he won the relief trophy. Well, it seemed like every time somebody wins that trophy, he gets an arm surgery or something's happened, and I think that was his voodoo. But he went from 96 to allegedly 91. Then you can't throw a fastball 91, and but he still has that 12-6 curveball. That 12, I mean, that's a beautiful pitch, the 12-6 curveball, and it just broke my heart when that happened. But
Yeah, I know what you mean. DeMarcus has been one of my favorites too. I mean, just a really nice guy. Who else was on the list?
Sheraton, your boy
Shirt, yeah,
Sheraton,
Shirt and Apostle. Yeah, posed for a
mm,
pitcher, unprompted, I would say, in Frisco. So he was a super nice guy as well. Always said hi, waved. But yeah, posed for a pitcher, and I definitely appreciated that. You know, I mean, I suppose that they could always re-sign with the Rangers, you know.
Yeah, if there's somebody that's out there,
Yeah,
I agree.
exactly. But yeah, I was surprised. So, I mean, really just, we were talking earlier and, just even a couple of years ago, these guys were some of my favorite prospects, and then now they're possibly not in the system. I mean, that's the way it goes, obviously, but
Yeah.
I've learned you really can't get too attached to
Too
to
attached
these
to any
players. You
player.
really can't.
You're right.
Um,
You're right.
that's just the way it is.
You're right about that. Very much so. But so what do you think about Venables?
So I love the hire. I mean, we know that he's been talked about as far as, being hired for other manager positions. So we knew something like that at least would eventually come. Someone I think with was it the Padres or something has apparently been associate manager as well before. And so I thought it was just a made up position, like a glorified bench
I've never heard of
coach.
it.
Yeah,
I've heard
well,
never heard of
the Rangers didn't invent it after all, is what I figured out. But again, don't have my notes in front of me, so that shows you guys how prepared I am for this. But I believe it was the Padres who had someone that did the same thing. And again, that's what I believe it is kind of a bench coach, but a different title and obviously, more money because
Well, I
they
guess
can't
your coach
leave unless
gets
they're
out on the
getting a
bench.
promotion. So really, I think Bruce Bochy and then someone who is, brilliant and well thought of as Will Venable is, uh, another excellent move by Chris Young. I wish that we would, start getting some players in here, but I understand too that, one team doesn't control the market, that's just the way it goes. And we probably won't see anything like that done until winter meetings, at least. I know we've seen moves here and there, but it's hadn't really been anything huge.
Well, I mean, aren't you excited about the All Star game coming this coming year to Glow Life?
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, what, 2024? So not next year, but the year after. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, the as much as I know that Arlington, the city, the taxpayers, probably are thankful for that too, having that, stadium and obviously hosting the World Series, during the COVID year was pretty cool too, but obviously not really anyone could go. But yeah, I think it's going to be cool. It's going to be packed, man. They're really going to know what a, baseball town the Metroplex is really. And of course, everybody's going to come in from everywhere, obviously. Hopefully, we'll have a pitcher on the mound participating in that game for the American League team, Jeff,
Well,
or and some position players. So that's my
there's
hope.
three free agents out there. I know we could talk for days and days about Rodon, Degrom, and that guy lit right down the road from or right down the highway from my house, Houston, so
That's right.
Verlander.
Yeah. Yeah, we could definitely talk and really to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind any of them, as far as the what makes sense to me and money wise. And I just realized I hope the way that my video is, it doesn't look weird on YouTube. But anyways, um, it just depending on the day, I could really see us, and would be happy with any of these guys. DeGrom and Verlander is going to cost a.
A boatload.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to back up that Brinks truck. I mean, it's gonna be scraping the axles. You're gonna have to
Ray
load it up
Davis
so full.
proved
But
last year that Ray Davis proved last year that money doesn't matter. I mean, look what he spent in middle infield last year. So
Well, yeah, but we already know too, though, that he's not going to spend that kind of money. Well, I guess technically we don't know. He made it seem that way, that they were going to be competitive, but he obviously would probably hope that they're not going to spend. And I guess in totality, they wouldn't have to spend 500 million like they did last
yeah,
year.
on
But
half a billion on
but the
players.
annual value for all these guys is up there, and my only fear is that that's just a lot of money, and if you have that money, 40 million tied up in one guy who you're really depending on, because let's be honest, there's a drop. If you're talking about guys like Justin Verlander, compared to Martin Perez, even, obviously Martin Perez, I'm not, you know, talking bad about him. Had an excellent year, and I think he really has found something. I don't know that he repeats, this year's numbers for next year, but I think we'll see an improved Martin Perez. So I'm glad that he's back. That he accepted that qualifying offer. So that's one less rotation spot we've got to worry about. But
So that's him
um,
and Gray. Him and
yeah,
Gray.
well, that's who I was, thinking of too. Is Gray. I mean, there's a clear difference. If we can add, one of DeGrom, Rodon, or Verlander, I think out of the three, Verlander is the very least likely, probably not likely at all to happen. But if we could sign one of the top tier pitchers and one or two, of the, like a Jameson, uh, Talion,
Oh, yeah,
um,
from the Yankees.
or I'd be willing to go Mike Clevenger for a year, maybe two, depending on what you can get him for. Um, then at that point, I think we could have a rotation that would have a chance to get you into the postseason.
Okay, so um, DeGrom, Rodon, and Verlander be one. Two would be is Martin a two? Okay, put Martin
So
on
no,
on the Astros
well, in
pitching staff. He would be a fifth. He'll be a fifth starter in Houston. With all due, I mean,
fourth, fourth probably at the
yeah,
at the most. Yeah, I mean,
right.
well, and that's who you kind of have to. As much as I hate to say this, because I really do, and I know you do because you live down there. You
Yeah,
kind of
I've
have
been
to
here a
model
long
after the Astros that they've done.
time, unfortunately.
I mean, they draft good. They develop their players. They
That's
find
pretty good.
talent, sign them for
Mhm.
cheap, and then when those players have, performed and can move on to free agency, then they leave. And then the Astros bring up the next guy
Bring
who,
somebody,
then
Palmer, yeah, and then Christian Javier. Like, my goodness, it's like one after another, another. I just
their
can't
their
take any
pitching,
of
whether
it.
you're talking about their starting pitching or relief pitching, is
And
just
bullpen.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Oh
it's
God,
it's ridiculous.
as much as I hate Astro fans, with all due respect to Durian Astro fans, they're never mind.
Yeah, and
We're going
then
off the
and then they've got oh man, I can't. This is where I should have my notes in front of me, but that young guy, they've got him. So if they do lose
Corey
Verlander,
Whitley
it's
out of in
no. I
AAA.
think it was Clark, something Clark. He's like a 24-year-old kid, but I
Oh, the
mean,
Randy Brown, that one that
no,
pitched
that's not
that
who I'm
pitched
thinking
up
of
there
either.
in
I don't think.
Arlington. That's supposed to take that if Verlander leaves, he's supposed to take his slot, not number one, but back at the bottom. I think his name is it's something Brown, who pitched up there in Arlington. In fact, was throwing a no hitter, I think, when they took him out again up there in Arlington. Whatever,
Yeah, I
this team
can't.
down here.
I can't think of it right now, and that maybe that's who it is. But I mean, if they lose, and that's kind of why I wouldn't mind Verlander traveling up north. Let's take something away from
It's
the
happened
Astros.
before. Hey, it's done before.
It
Some
has.
guy named Norman Ryan. I
Well,
mean,
funny enough, and I know we talked about this a little last week too. Justin Verlander has aged pretty well. I mean, he could be, the next Nolan Ryan as far as longevity goes.
yeah.
You know, I mean, I know that I think his velocity dropped a little bit last year, but or this year, but um, won the Cy Young. I
Hmm.
mean, I don't
And won
know.
every vote.
In a
Hmm.
way, to me, it would make complete sense to sign Verlander to it. It probably would take 3 years to get him though. So I don't know. I mean, part of me wants the Rangers to yes go all in. There's obviously an inherent risk anytime you sign a pitcher. There's that risk of injury. I mean, it just seems to be very common, unfortunately, for the Rangers. So
Well, the good thing with the Rangers, cavalry will be here soon. You got, like I say, we talk about Kent, and then we talk about White. You talk about Ryan Garcia if he stays. You got Rocker. You got Leiter. The cavalry will be here soon, so that's the good thing.
yeah, 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 absolutely. And well, the development has to come along, of course, but you're right. I mean, in Owen White, I really would have loved to see what he could have done with the full season. He, I was just really impressed with him. So yeah, he's number one pitching prospect at this point in the Rangers system,
Hmm.
I believe, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, by
So
far.
um, but yeah, I mean they're on their way, and I'm curious to see too who the new pitching coach will be, in Frisco, and I think there might be a new one coming in Round Rock as well.
I haven't heard
I
that.
don't know. I could be wrong on that. Again, no notes.
Hmm. Well, okay, according to the prospect wing top 30, it's Leiter 2, White 4, and Porter 6.
Well, again, I'm not a scout, but that's just me. And I've heard other. I think Tepid has said that too. And Tepid's pretty knowledgeable too as far as
Oh,
the
yeah.
farm
Him
system.
and Sky Lucas.
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys, all of them. And I think that we're all pretty much in agreement that that White's the number one at this point.
Hmm.
I can't
I
speak for everybody.
agree.
I'm just saying that's what I think. White is my number one.
I agree very much. Um, what was you offered Twitter people to send out a question? Which one? Which question you wanted to answer?
Yeah, there were a few of them. I know one was about trading prospects. I'll be honest with you. I'm not good at predicting trades or how another team would value, one of our prospects. So I don't know. Could I see a trade coming? Yes, absolutely. And I believe that was actually King Abbey 4423. It's at Albert 43202835. Asked, do the Rangers trade away some of their top infield prospects for someone like Pablo Lopez from Miami? Again, I don't know how other teams
Him,
value the
him
prospect, but yeah, I could see something like that happening.
with him, it's going to be we're going to have to lose somebody that's already in major, which would be Garcia, and one of the infielders. That's
Well, so Jeff, if you tell me that, then I'm going to have to think twice about trading Garcia because then you're losing some thump in your lineup.
right,
You
right.
know, I
But
mean, are
then
you
don't
getting a
you look
good arm?
into that?
Absolutely, but I mean, our lineup is kind of set. We don't need a whole lot, but if you take, you know, if you take Garcia out of there, then yeah, there's just I don't see that. I don't do
Well,
that. I put someone else
uh,
in there.
okay, just okay. So you're looking at, but it has to be major league ready for Pablo Lopez. There's no, they're not going to take just minor league. They're going to want a major league ready person already. And well, what I've read is going to be Garcia. But you can take the home runs away, maybe with Josh Young can pick up some of them home runs. I mean, a full
Well,
season
I
with him at
mean,
third,
yeah, I mean, and I guess it could
Sam
depend too
Huff
on
at behind the plate, but
yeah,
he's a hit and miss.
well, yeah, and
He's going to hit it to the old ballpark or he's going to strike out. I mean, it's one. I mean, it's either hit or miss. So, and here's another one: if you trade Garcia, do you bring back our hometown friend Joey Gallo?
I know we touched on that too.
I put you in the spot. I know. I'm sorry, but
We touched
one of
on
our
that.
fans
It would
asked.
have to be a very friendly deal with maybe like incentives, you know. I mean, we know he's likely to give you plate appearances, but I mean the you know the performance has to be there. You know, plus the shift is going away. That could help out a little. You
Yes,
know,
that
we know
does
the
help a lot.
defense is going to be good, so I don't know. Maybe you do something like that, you know, if you can swing a trade like that. But yeah, I mean, we could definitely deal from a strength of, you know, having some infield depth. So yeah, I think someone's going to go. I just don't know for who. You know, that's that's not my forte. I'm not real good at you know predicting or seeing you know what other
I
teams
really don't
value.
think
But it's going to
anybody
be
can
a
predict it.
mixture, yeah, of major league players and prospects for someone like him. Yeah.
I messaged with somebody. I can't remember who I was messaging with before. I say, why does Rangers in the for in the Dominican Republic international league draft? It's always a catcher or a shortstop. And they said the reason with that is the arm. You can move them from a shortstop to outfield. You can do catcher to second base like BGO and move like uh, Connor Falefa. That's one thing. You can get a catcher to move all over the place. And it's like you can never have enough catchers, never have enough shortstops, never have enough second base. Which if you look at the top 30, most of them are either shortstop, second base. So it's interesting how they do the draft that way. So if you do that, you can build up, and then I guess you can trade those for other pieces. So like that one, what Kelvin Gonzalez, the one that was in Anthony Gutierrez, the kid that's tearing up the Dominican Republic League.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's untouchable. He's gonna be very. I mean, he's 17 years old and he's 6'3", 180 pounds. You know, when by the time he gets up there, what he's gonna be like, he could
We're
be another
hitting
Juan Gonzalez.
Jeff. We're hitting towards our time, so we've got
Okay,
to
okay,
we got to shut it
but
down. Sorry, everybody.
that's
I
just
know
when
our
get on the
conversation
road,
is
you get on the road, you want to talk for
yeah,
days,
we
and we
do.
can talk for days.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for joining me again, Jeff. I definitely appreciate it. I
No
know we kind of
problem.
cut it short. That was kind of abrupt, but definitely appreciate you listening. In the meantime, and until next time, guys, keep swinging for the fences.